Nelson Mandela once famously said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." At STREAT Cafe, it is working to change the lives of the disadvantaged youth of Melbourne by educating them with life skills, work experience and training that they require to start a career in the hospitality industry. To discuss STREAT's learning program, we have Venus Laurenti, who has studied a Bachelor of Social Science and worked with the youth as a housing support worker for about 5 years. We also have Dominique Clark, who has recently graduated with a Bachelor of Education and is strongly opinionated and passionate about the right to an education. So everybody, welcome to Street Talk.
Thank you for joining us today, ladies. What are your thoughts on training disadvantaged youth in programs such as the STREAT program?
I think it's crucial for anyone's growth to be educated in any way that they choose to be, because a lot of what happens with disadvantaged youth and the reason they are in certain predicaments is the lack of education and support that they have. And if they were in a position, in a supportive environment where they could receive training such as this STREAT program, it's vital. It's vital for them to be able to flourish in themselves and within the community and actually be a part of the community rather than be labelled, as they are.
Yeah, I think that's important to think that they are a vital part of the community. They have a place and a belonging.
Absolutely,
I think that's really good. I think STREAT's doing a good job with
that. It's vital for anybody, just as a human being, to be part of a community, part of the environment. So there definitely should be more free programs such as this one.
Yeah, I think that programs like STREAT are excellent for disadvantaged youth who are interested in hospitality career. It would be really excellent if other industries had programs like this going as well, so that there was more choice.
Would you personally buy a coffee from a person who was homeless or disadvantaged at STREAT?
Yeah, absolutely. A person's a person, irrespective of what your background is or where you come from. There should be no reason to discriminate. They're trying to get an education and a training like anybody else, and why wouldn't you?
Like we were saying before, they are part of the community. I don't think that people are going to walk in and hone in and be like, homeless person. People are going to just see a person that's just serving them coffee.
What does education mean for you today in this society where people don't necessarily finish high school?
Is a lot focused currently on vocational education. A more successful approach might be teaching them to love learning and then following their own passions and interests would end up having more successful people in the end.
Yeah, I think like you're saying, there needs to be a variety of different options for education. Not everybody fits in the current education system. And as a mum, that's something that I'd really like to see change, that the education system would be able to provide an avenue for other people for not just that structured education, but that creative side, that other sides of, people to be able to develop in, not just to be that worker that you're talking about.
Now we'll be going to a live stream from the STREAT.
Thanks, Josh. Hi, Venus. Hi, Dom. Now we're going to take it to the street with Street Talk. We're here with John Weldon, the Bachelor of Communications Coordinator. What does education mean to you?
Well, education to me means giving people the tools to function in society, so to get a job and to understand how society works and the things that are expected of them. And it's also a tool to give them an opportunity to chase their dreams and to do more than just exist in society, to prosper, to do well and to have a fulfilling life.
Education's really just opens up opportunities for you that you haven't had before.
The thing you need to have during your life. It's basically the way you get a job and way you actually live for the rest of your life. You need it.
Beck, just want to ask you one question about STREAT. What are your thoughts on educating homeless youth?
I think it's awesome because a lot of people that are on the streets these days is because they're not educated. So it's good to get out there and actually help those who are struggling to find their way, and this organisation is helping them get right on track, so it's an awesome idea.
Personally, I think there should be more free services for the homeless. I feel that it's very sad in today's generation and society how the homeless are portrayed.
I think education and hospitality training, any form of training, should be open to anyone and everyone, and it should be free.
And what about STREAT's training services for the homeless youth?
I think it's a fantastic idea. I would definitely recommend it to my friends because I think it's kind of, you're giving back to society and you're helping out people.
I think it's a really good idea if they would try to make their lives better and people are willing to help them out. I think it's really good.
Thanks everyone. Now back to you.
Well, thanks to the people on the street. And what do you think of that, guys?
Yeah, fascinating. It's really interesting to hear what people are thinking about these programs.
Yeah, definitely. Some different opinions. It's good to hear the voice of the public.
Have you had any personal experiences with being homeless or disadvantaged?
A lot of my peers growing up were these kind of people that we're talking about, and looking back on the people from this disadvantaged area that have been successful, it's the people that have been engaged in education.
My family migrated here from El Salvador during the war, and we stayed in hostels when we first came here and then in public housing. But in that time, I guess having that transition of constantly having to move because of the type of housing you were in was very challenging. We were all young children at the time, but it does, we did grow up in the western suburbs in, you know, a really disadvantaged area. And I did have issues growing up with substance abuse, and as a result I was a long-term user, but with a lot of support that I received through different agencies that actually saw me to be able to get educated and sustain housing and have a family and actually be, to what I consider today, successful. It's a very challenging place to be in, but there is definitely a way out if we can provide the right avenues with the support through our current systems. Like at the moment, I don't think there is adequate support for young people to want to come out of these situations. But with programs such as STREAT, it's a beginning.
But absolutely I would recommend it, especially not just a training program, but a training program that has in mind some of the difficulties that its students are going through. I think can't be a bad thing overall.
Well, thanks so much for joining us today on Street Talk. It's been a pleasure and your answers were very interesting and very personal, so thank you so much.